This is gonna be so much fun.
So last July, a company called Angel Drums contacted me with a really touching email. Angel Drums, a company in Hungary who make all their own drums from scratch, were offering to send me a snare drum, no strings attached. I'd actually heard of Angel Drums from videos like this one.
These drums are made, handmade, outside of Budapest, Hungary, by a small group of people that do a great, fantastic job.
So needless to say, I was flattered by their offer, and we accepted. I almost felt guilty picking out one of the most expensive drums on their website. Almost. Anyway, after a few months of updates on the assembly of the drum, which they built for me from scratch, and one minor delivery snafu because in the time it took them to build the drum, I'd moved.
Okay, so I'm here to pick up my snare drum. They sent it to my old address, so we had to divert it to Jazz and Print. Oh, YouTube's new rules, I'm not allowed to film people without their consent, something about Constitution, so we'll just do this on hidden camera. Cool. Hi, I believe I've got a package.
Okay, what's your name? Let me just make sure it's here.
Nathaniel Smith? Ah, there it is. Far left there.
You're all set.
Cool, thank you. We got it.
The Angel drum finally arrived. There was just one problem.
I want to do something really funny with this.
I had a bright idea, and that would mean I'd need to wait a couple weeks before I could play this sweet, sweet machine. Actually, it was going to be epic.
So we are browsing the dirt cheapest snare drum on Amazon. So we got it, it's the Kuval or Koyal 13 by 3.5 inch professional snare drum. All right, this is going to be kinky. Proceed to checkout. Won't get here till Friday, December 4th. Place my order. There we go.
I just needed to wait for the comparison item to arrive. Luckily, it arrived early. So I'll be able to run a comparison, a silly comparison, maybe the silliest comparison ever. Today, my brand new, never been played, $1,200 plus hand-built custom drum from Angel Drums in Hungary, world renowned for their uncompromising quality.
When something's good, it's good, and these drums are phenomenally good.
And the dirt cheapest snare drum I could find on Amazon, which I procured for either $33 or $39, I forget, plus a little shipping. We'll put them through a battery of tests. Out of the box sound at high and low tunings, and sound on the kit with various degrees of muffling, tuning, and various styles. So it's sympathetically vibrating its own snares. It's the ultimate high-end versus low-end snare drum comparison video. Stay tuned. Let's start with our Angel. As many of you may know, I am not a professional videographer. I'm more of a chewing gum and duct tape YouTuber.
Overhead for expensive drum testing scenes.
But I've done my best to capture some well-lit footage. The model is a mahogany snare drum, which lists for $1,200 on Angel's website. And that's base price without any options, in which they say has muted highs, a controlled mid-range, and warm and rich lows. I requested this drum in the 14 by 5 size with a hardware option they call sateen chrome, and stainless steel hoops. Without playing it, the first impression I got of this drum was low-key flex. It's not ostentatious, it looks like it's got nothing to prove. Like a Silicon Valley founder's Tesla, rather than a rented Lambo. The attention to detail here is impressive. And Angel says on their website that they build all their hardware from scratch. From the hoops to the spiral snare strainer, which allows a smooth throw on and throw off. I chose the matte finish instead of the high gloss because, as I said, killing you softly. Low-key flex. The lugs, and I looked this up, are called tube lugs, and are designed to have less metal in contact with the shell for greater resonance. You see them a lot on orchestral snares. The hoops look like they're die cast, like those on my Gretsch. And for these, I got the stainless steel option. As much as I ache to play this beauty, let's first take a look at our competition. This is the Koyal 13 by 3.5 professional snare drum with black glossy PVC finish. And this is true, drumsticks. Now, I couldn't find any information about Kuyal on the web as a company. They sell via Amazon and a few online music stores. And there are a million business models out there where people source things from factories and drop ship them or have them fulfilled by Amazon, then sell them to other people's websites without a hub. As this is not an e-commerce video, suffice it to say that Kuyal, whoever they are, is supplying $39 drums to the people. People who want decent quality without spending an arm and a leg. And good for them. That is, if the quality is really decent. We're about to test that. So, on first impression, the overriding impression of the drum is how light it is. Also, the fact that the head on top is coated, but is glossy coated, that's an interesting look. And the sort of low-end factory, like machine aluminum foil stamping of the hardware. But look, if they get a good sound out of it, with all of these sort of basic materials and they can deliver it at a low price, great for them. So we've got our basis for comparison. Now onto the meat and potatoes. Let's play these puppies. So the Angel folks delivered this drum pretty much ready to play and tuned a little low. To be fair to the fact that it sat in my studio for 2 weeks, enduring temperature and humidity changes, I didn't change the tuning much, but I did quickly go around the drum to make sure it was in tune with itself. And now, the moment of truth. So my first impression from the sort of low and open tuning that they sent it to me with is that there's a great response from the snares. Let's turn them off really quick. So this is in tune with itself. The bottom head's a little higher than the top head, but as you can hear, it's tuned pretty low. The rim shot performance, it's going to be hard to judge because it's not in the context of a kit. But I really love the buzz rolls on this drum. So that's a brief raw look at what $1,200 gets you. Now let's have a look at what $39 gets you. The Kuyal's only been sitting in my apartment for a few days, but it was probably shipped trans-Pacific, so to be fair to it, I gave it a quick tuning as well. Likewise, let's now play it close to the factory tuning it arrived at. Well, I don't know what I like more, the garbagey snare sound or the overtone. I could see this being kind of an effects drum. Let's quickly check it without the snares on. So the snare strainer is actually not bad. I don't hate it. It's pretty easy to throw on and throw off, and the tightener is pretty responsive. So let's try it without snares. Okay, it's not supposed to sound like that. Drop it even lower. So it's sympathetically vibrating its own snares. So I have to put my hand underneath. Here we go. Nope. No, that's not. What is that vibrating? I don't know what to tell you guys. Anyway, that's all well and good, but what we really care about when it comes to these drums is how they sound on the kit. So we'll start with the lower tuning and then we'll crank it up a little bit. Let's just play this drum a little. So that's the low sort of factory tuning. Usually I'll do with a little muffling. So let's just put Ye Olde cell phone down and see how that sounds. I also tuned the drum kit a hair to make everything sing well together. So there are a couple volume regimes I want to try this in, and the first is jazz. This is low to medium volume and played with thinner sticks. Let's play a little first with the open tuning and the low tuning, then I'll muffle it again and then we'll tune it up. Now with muffling. Now, hold tight while I crank it up a little. Let's play it at a higher tuning. I might be a little hypoglycemic. I might be just partied out, but I don't think I really need to say anything. Hopefully the mic picked that up. Hopefully you guys can understand how sweet that sounds. Anyway, now let's look at how the $39 Kuyal handles le jazz. Well, as my music school buddy Andrew Bain used to put it, what do you want me to say to you? Again, I think it would be kind of a cool effects snare drum, or sort of a gimmick, like you want a cheap sounding snare drum on your kit. For the sort of lo-fi clip where the band leader is on an old-timey TV before you transition into like the high fidelity clip with the new drum. Now to be fair, let's try this closed with the iPhone on top. Then we'll tune it up and try it for jazz. Okay, so let's play some jazz again. Not actually the worst. It sounds a lot better tuned up. Now let's muffle it a little with the iPhone. Again, sort of a slightly trashy effects. You could definitely see Nate Wood deliberately tuning one of his snare drums like this. Now let's look at the higher volume regime, what I call David Cola volume. Basically, on odd-numbered days of the month, I don the noise-canceling beats and do as this commenter suggests. That means heavier sticks and playing at gospel-ish, rock-ish type of volumes. Let's see how the Angel drum sounds at high-ish volume and high-ish tuning. We'll start first with it open. Now let's do it with the closed tuning. I'm going to throw the iPhone on there again. Okay, so we'll have to hear how that sounds on the playback. My only impressions are that actually at that high volume, it feels like the snare sound starts to mash up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and attribute that to my being a novice at this spiral snare system they have. So in the coming weeks and months, of course, I'm going to continue to play with the Sweet Sweet drum, continue to experiment with that snare setting to see if I can coax some more tightness out of it at the high volumes. At the medium low volumes with jazz played open and closed, it sounds amazing. It sounds like Nate Wood. Now, if there's any weakness of cheap drums, it's usually consistency across dynamics. Let's see how our $39 Creole performs at these higher volumes. Okay, now let's fire up the beats. Grab the heavier sticks and perform the test, which is the bane of every cheap drum, the high volume regime. Just as with the other, we'll do it open first. We'll drop the iPhone on it to close it up, see what we get. Okay, well, to be honest, with those noise-canceling headphones on, anything sounds good. So we'll really have to listen back to the recordings. So, impressions. I honestly thought the cheap drum was going to put up a bigger fight. Like, I've seen some pretty cheap drums that sound pretty amazing. I texted my friend Donald while I was running this comparison, and he suggested changing the head to a coated head on the cheap drum. So, full disclosure, this may not have been a completely fair comparison. Still, I'm so psyched about my new drum from Angel Drums. My beauty, my precious. Thanks again, guys. I'm going to sleep with this under my pillow. And hopefully you found this an interesting comparison just to show you where your dollar goes when you spend upwards of $1,000 on a drum. The handcrafting, and you just look at the details. All of the hardware is made by hand, and the tolerances are really fine compared to the sort of machine stamped die-cast hoop, just sort of sheet metal look and feel of the cheap drum. Do look for the Angel drum in future videos. I'll definitely be playing it with jazz. There's still a learning curve to really coax the high volume performance out of it, and I can't wait to do that. Anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed this drum comparison video. And if you too have a drum, whether it's a low-end drum that you're a wizard at making sound great, or a high-end drum, either way, you need to know how to get the best sound out of those drums. Transition! And I may have just the thing for you. My 3-video mini course, which I don't share on YouTube, which will make you better in the next 3 weeks than you've gotten in the previous 6 months. Just click below the player to grab those videos. You'll also get on my insiders list so that you won't miss another YouTube video for the rest of your life. And only if you're interested, I only announce openings of my course to people on the insiders list. There's no obligation to buy ever unless you want to get amazing. Anyway, guys, it's been real. This one was a lot of fun to shoot, and it was worth the wait. Thanks again to Angel Drums for their generous gift. See you again real soon in another lesson.